Hey everyone, we're going to be talking about the colors that are opposite on their color wheel. All right, so here is my color wheel, and opposite just means any color that is a cross. So I have this handy dandy color wheel, and they're pretty inexpensive. I think they're a couple dollars, and if you're someone that struggles with color, this may be something useful, but you can also print one out online if you would like. The benefit of this one, though, it kind of shows you if you add different colors, what will happen, and on the back side, you can move it around so you can get an idea of which colors are complementary, split, tetradic, and triadic. I wanted to talk about opposite colors on the color wheel for two very specific reasons. One is colors that are opposite on the color wheel are called complementary colors because that is a color harmony that looks good together. The opposite of orange would be blue. I have a cobalt blue right here, and what I'm going to do is create a second opacity scale, opacity to transparency. And you're going to start to see that when these colors are put next to each other, they really do look good together. It's just the way nature is. I don't know, but opposites on the color will look good together when they're next to each other. So I will do that real fast. Okay, don't they look great? When they're put next to each other, they really look good. But if you mix these colors together, or if you lay these colors on top of each other in color glazes, you're going to get somewhat of a different effect. You can use this to your advantage, or it may start to result in your colors looking muddy. And I know that a lot of times when your colors start beginning to look muddy, it can be very disappointing. And this is one of the reasons why this may be happening to you. Okay, so when you mix colors that are complementary together, they create something called a neutral color. This is great if you want to create any realistic shadows. Like for instance, if you have green grass and you have a shadow of a tree on that green grass, a little tip is you can add a little bit of red to your paint that is green and mix it together and then apply that paint mixture to your painting where the shadow would be. And when they mix together, it creates a very nice neutral looking green instead of just adding black to make a shadow. So now we have this orange and we have this blue color, and we have this idea that if you mix them together, we get some kind of neutral color. So why don't we test it out and see what that looks like? So why don't we do that? I'm gonna start with some orange, and I'm just gonna take a touch of blue and add it. And that didn't do anything, so I'm just gonna take a little bit more. And really, I should be doing this with a palette knife. So all right, it's still pretty orange. We're starting to get to that brownish neutral color that I was telling you about that makes a really good shadow color. Right at the moment, this would make a really good orange shadow color because it still looks very orange. So let's say I wanted to have a shadow on this square because it is so opaque. What I would do is take this color and I would get a lot of glaze. I'm just gonna wipe this off. I have too much pigment. All right, let's try this again. Take some of this color and this would give me, I can even go a little bit darker. What this gives me is a really nice shadow color for the orange. And why don't we see what this looks like on the blue real fast? Although the blue is still wet, I might need to wait. All right, now let's do the same thing and take our blue and add some orange to it. Now I kind of have, I don't know if you can see this, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit of a glare there. But on this blue at the moment, I have a little bit of orange. So I might just use a little bit of that and let's see what we get here. There, this is looking like a nice shadow color. little bit more again. Okay, so I've taken some of this and putting it over here. And this is still very wet, so I'm just going to lay the square next to it. Okay, now the reason why I'm telling you this for color glazing is because at the very end it is important to have a plan and a strategy of where you're going to be laying your colors down. If you just put your color everywhere and do one layer of like orange and then one layer of blue or whatever, your colors are going to look weird. They're going to get muddy. So make sure that you start to come up with a plan about how you're going to be doing your color glazing. Really analyze your photo references. And if you see that in a certain area it looks more blue, you can absolutely add blue on top of an orange. It's not going to, it's just going to make it look more like this. But that might be a good thing because that can really create a realistic shadow. So here are the things that you really want to keep in mind when color glazing. One is that warm colors tend to appear to come forward and cool colors tend to appear to move backwards. Just like light appears to move forward and dark appears to move backwards. One last thing, not completely related, but detail comes forward and blurriness moves back. So when you're color glazing, some things that you can think about are if you want your paintings to appear to be coming out more, you might want to use more warm colors in the highlights and more cool colors in the shadows. And this is not this is just a tip that you can use to play with your paintings and how they look three-dimensional. Of course, I still use warm colors. I still use warm colors in my shadows as well because there might be a warm light that is creating a highlight, a midtone, and a shadow there. So a very quick example of that would be that at this very moment in time, I have a red light shining on the side of my face. And this red light is going to change the shadow and how it appears than on this side where I have a different type of lighting altogether. So you might have warm shadows, but you can also add a little bit of cool color to it, like for instance, more violets with your reds. You may even have something that appears a little bit just more blue, and you can just do a thin layer of glaze on that side over a red. So how you're layering your glazes really is important, and I do not recommend that you ever just do a single layer of glaze over everything. Even if you just want a single layer of color over everything, I still recommend just taking a smaller paintbrush and placing that color in a little bit at a time. And this way you don't pull off any paint in the background. This way you have control over its transparency and opacity. And it's just smarter because you spent already so much time on your painting. Okay, hopefully that helped. Take care. Bye.